Hey, Harry, are we starting? Hey, Ife.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Oh, good morning. I'm Babz Rawls-Ivy. Welcome to LoveBabz, LoveTalk. This is the second hour of LoveBabz, LoveTalk. My guest today is my good friend, my sister, Ife Gardine. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
You look so bright and radiant.
I'm trying.
LITFEST, Elm City LITFEST, year 2. Oh my God,
girl.
it's about to be lit AF. All right,
Oh
tell
my
me
God.
what's happening. When is it? What's happening? Who we got? What should we look forward to?
Let's start from the beginning.
Let's start from the beginning. I'm with that.
So Thursday, September 9th will be our fundraiser, a jazz fundraiser. Oh, and I must say, the LITFEST theme this year is the Harlem Renaissance, from Paris to Harlem to the Elm City. Jazz fundraiser. Oh, and I must say,
Okay, Harry, we are all right. There we go.
and so Thursday, September 9th, we will have New Haven's own jazz fundraiser featuring New Haven's own, I love saying his name, Zweleke Duma Lapea.
I think I like saying it too. I don't know him. What's his music, Ife? What's his music? What's his music?
He does jazz. He's a jazz musician. This young man went to ECA. His mother is our friend on Facebook. We've seen him down at the the Yale Underground. Very talented brother that's been playing all over the world. And I must say, he is the epitome in his, I guess he's like 31, 32, but he's like the epitome of that old school jazz player kind of person. But he has a quartet and he'll be playing. And I hope everybody come out and see it. $75 a person. And that's going to be at 70 Audubon Street on the rooftop at the Arts Council.
Oh, that's nice. I love that space.
Eventbrite, because folks, we have to have a head count. We have to do a tracing. We're being COVID compliant. We are, for all the events, monitoring, the city and state guidelines for gatherings.
Okay.
So, and Zweleke Duma Lapere will be playing with his trio. And then I'll be in conversation with Craig Harris, who is a Harlem-based musician, composer, who's composed the soundtrack for the movie Judas and the Black Messiah. And he's working on some other movies as well. And Craig has been here in New Haven a few times at Firehouse 12.
Okay. I don't think I've caught his set.
The didgeridoo.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, we did catch his set. We felt that whole vibration in us, like the earth through us.
Right. Well, he plays sax. I first met him in the first years of Arts and Ideas. He actually played for Arts and Ideas in 20-something years ago. But anyway, so that's one. And then the second, on Friday, we're also having a second fundraiser that is an ode to James Baldwin's Giovanni's Room. So it's a drag show. Also on the featuring Robin Fierce. And oh gosh, Julius is gonna kill me because I don't remember everybody, but Julius is working and Sha is at a funeral. So I'm here. They were gonna come, but they all both had things. But that's okay. But we're gonna have a really nice drag show also on the rooftop.
Wow.
And again,
drag shows have come a long way, Ife. It's part of our normal, like when we think entertainment, we accept and think about drag shows as a thing to go watch and participate in and check out.
these are going to be, this one's going to be very tastefully done. We have 3 fabulous, we have 2 people coming from New Jersey, and we have local folks. So performing. And that's going to be from 7 to 10.
Okay.
On Friday, the 10th. So you can do one or the other. The jazz fundraiser is on Thursday is $75 a person. And the drag show fundraiser is Friday, and that's $45 a person. And then on
people can do both. Y'all can do both. You know you want to do both. Do both.
And then on Saturday, oh my God, Saturday is loaded. We are opening with Bergamos drummers. They're gonna
oh my God,
call on the ancestors and stuff for the show. Boom, boom, boom. Isaac
Raphael Ramos, right? That's Raphael Ramos.
Raphael.
Yeah.
Isaac Bloodworth is going to do a puppet show for us.
He's quite talented.
We have a wonderful, a Connecticut-based children's author that's going to be featured. Her name is Anna Niakana, and she has a series of for Black children about tribal and heritage and stuff. And that's that. In her series of books is actually going to be picked up as a cartoon by HBO, I believe.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
And then we also are going to have a performance by K-Dub, your godson.
Yes, my nephew, baby boy, and his parents are so proud. We are all so proud.
And we are also having, as I run through the list, because I was just going through it as before we got on this morning. We're Ice the Beef is going to do a performance. They're going to give us some Harlem Renaissance, Josephine Baker.
This Ice the Beef, they're becoming quite the performance group. They just came off doing Romeo and Juliet with Elm Shakespeare on the Green and at Edgerton Park. So they have really started to craft out a production component to the work that they do.
Exactly. And then we have, we're going to feature Ubuntu storytellers, Denise Page's group. Denise is doing an event that day, but she's sending, but they're going to be represented by 3 wonderful storytellers, like Laconia Terrell, I might say his name wrong. Cynthia Rojas and another young lady. So they're going to be doing storytelling. Oh my gosh, it's loaded. It's loaded. We're going to have author presentations by several of local authors, local, like people that have written books that are here. This is all Saturday. I need to mention too, is going to be behind 200 Dixon Plaza, where the old Stetson Library was, the building between Charles Street and Webster Street.
Yes, in that parking lot, that big in the parking lot.
We're going to have the stage out there. We're going to have our volunteers, and we're looking for more volunteers. Please, we need volunteers for the day to help us set up elmcitylitfest.com or email us at elmcitylitfest@gmail.com. So yes, so we have the stage out there. We're going to have vendors, and we are getting some food trucks.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, and we'll have a children's tent, activity tent featuring 2 local artists, my good friend Kay Anderson and Jesse, and it'll be a big mural, we'll be making a mural like a big bookshelf, and the kids will be making bookends or making their own book covers and putting them up on the bookshelf. And thanks to our good friend B Wack, he's gonna do the outline of the mural, and then the artists will help people put things up. I just say Isaac's doing a puppet show, right?
Yes.
Isaac's doing a puppet show. And then we're gonna close out the day over there with poets. We were, oh my God. we were fortunate enough to re-represent Connecticut at the New York Poetry Festival a few weeks ago. And we brought poets from all over our state. From New London, we had Josh, the urban nerd Brown, who is also New London's first poet laureate and Black. And that's a surprise for New London. And we had a young man named Julian Maine, who goes by Brother Bear from Hartford. And of course, we brought the son.
Of course.
Poet's son, Lauren Essen.
Yes.
So they're going to close out our day. And while that's going, all that's going to be going on behind the Stetson, I got to say, because there's a new, brand spanking new one across the street, but behind 200 Dixon Plaza in the parking lot. Again, COVID safe, we'll have masks. We'll be handing out masks to people. We'll have hand sanitizer. Things will be spaced out. Logistics have been okay. Anyway, and at 2 p.m., from 2 to 3 p.m., we're going to have the authors of the African diaspora panel. And that will be featuring a woman named Disha Philyaw, who wrote a book called Secret Lives of Church Lady.
This book is so hot right now.
What? We are
it's very
so
hot
glad.
right now. People are reading this thing, talking about it. It's on my list.
And then we'll have your good friend Nicole Blades, who is she in Hartford or Norwalk? Yes. She's in Hartford. So we have LITFEST is local, regional, and global artists of the African diaspora. So we have a nice mix of local, global, and regional. And we will also be zooming in on that panel from Canada is Jael Richardson. She wrote she's a Black author in Canada, wrote a book called Gutter Child about growing up, her father growing up. So the authors are really, really, really good. So if those of you who like want to go get the book signed, get your book signed, go meet the authors, that's going to be moderated by our own New Haven's own Lisa D. Gray. Her father, Pete Gray, used to run Dixel Neighborhood Corporation. And Lisa is based in California right now, but she is always back home and she's homegrown in New Haven. Went to Spelman, HBCU, Pride. And then, so that'll be happening over there. We also will have, for the poetry part at, outside, we're going to feature Joy Harris, who is a very talented poet, who went through the playwright program with me at Long Wharf, who's local as well. And from Hartford's Lit to Shala Williams and Nzima Hutchins. That's Saturday. Whew, okay.
You're going to get you some culture. Oh. If you're looking for culture, if you don't find it next weekend, I don't know who you are or what you are.
The weekend after Labor Day.
Yes, a week and a half. Yes.
Jesus Christ. A week and a half. Okay. So on Sunday, all the programming is going to be at people get ready, 123 Whaley Avenue.
Yes, that's a great
next to St. Luke's Church, behind Papa John's, across the street from U-Haul. We got to do all this explanation.
It's right in the cut. It's just right there in the cut.
Okay. Again, you gotta register. You gotta register because we gotta have a head count. And we gotta be COVID compliant. We ain't trying to crowd up the room. So please go on Eventbrite, ElmCityLitFest.com and look and register to come. So we're going to start out on Sunday. Shaw and Julius had a summer program for arts and ideas where these young people made films. And the films, they're so good. They each made a short film about what they want to. So we're going to feature those films. Oh, that's
going to be great.
And on Sunday is from noon to 4. Okay. On Saturday is 10 to 4. Sunday is noon to 4. So at 12:15, we're going to show the films. And then I will, the second thing will be, I will be in conversation with Marion Huggins, who is the head librarian at the Miller Library and has been running the Urban Book Club out of when she was at the Hill Library, the one on
Cortland.
Yeah, the Cortland branch. She was over there, and now she's the head librarian at the Miller. But she started the Urban Book Club a few years ago, and she reads all Black books in the book club. So I'm going to be in conversation with Marion Huggins and the fabulous Sharon Brooks, New Haven's own.
Yeah.
Sharon's been facilitating, organizing a book club for a minute, like just a group of women getting together, reading Black books, a sip of wine. So we're going to talk about the importance and the significance of Black book clubs.
Oh,
right?
they are the backbone of Black book buying.
Exactly.
We Black women have been holding down the publishing industry, unbeknownst to other people. We've been holding down the publishing industry, particularly around our books, especially around our books.
Absolutely. So. And then we were fortunate because again, this is the theme this year is the Harlem Renaissance. We're fortunate enough to have Lucy Hurston, who is Zora Neale Hurston's niece, who is an ethnographer, ethnologist, whatever but she's an anthropologist also and writer, and she's based here in Connecticut.
Oh, I did not know that.
She's a professor at Manchester Community College, and she will be in conversation with Professor Bill Foster, who is our dear friend, who always comes around for us, who is also retired professor in the Connecticut University system, and a Black comic historian, among other things. So they'll be in conversation on Sunday about the legacy of Zora Neale Hurston and Black authors. And then we have a Black theater panel that will be facilitated by Alita. And that's going to be loaded. We have Steve Driffin, playwright. And
yes, because he just had a play
out at Legacy Theater.
At the theater.
Yeah, and Alita's on the board for Legacy Theater as well. This stuff to do in New Haven. People just don't realize this. We got stuff. And we got people doing good things. And then we'll have Dexter Singleton, of course, from Collective Consciousness
Theater, yes.
And Anthony from the Schubert McDonald has graciously agreed to be on the panel as well. So we'll have him and Halima Flynn and Aaliyah Miller, who are local women who are doing a drama project. They've been working in theater for a very long time, but they're doing a drama project around Black women and their status in the theater overall.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. And then they'll be joined also. This is, like I said, this is a big panel by Abigail Unwunali and Anthony Brown, who are Black Yale Drama School students, grad students. And then we'll finish off the day with readings from poets and writers from the Harlem Renaissance. And they will also be by Yale Drama School students.
Wow. So when you started the planning, because last year was the first year for the LITFEST, was so successful. What made you decide on the Harlem Renaissance as a theme for the second one?
The Harlem Renaissance has writers, are my favorite writers. Like I love a lot of Black writers, but the Harlem Renaissance writers is like Langston Hughes, Zora Neale Hurston, Countee Cullen, Gwendolyn Brooks. Like a lot of those authors were, when I discovered them, first of all, didn't discover them till I was like in the teens, almost in college, right? And when I did, I was like, wow, here's our stories. And they would like, that's what empowered me. Last year, it was our LitFest was a tribute to Toni Morrison, because she had just passed, and we had to pivot to virtual, which worked out fine. And again, God forbid, if things shut down, we got Rev Kev ready to do virtual for everything.
Oh, okay. Okay.
If everything shuts down next week after Labor Day and they say, another variant, we just send everybody a link and everybody gonna do their stuff virtually. So be ready.
I think that's our new normal, just virtual ready. Just be virtual ready.
We got a plan. We got to have a plan. I mean, it's real. It's real. So so this year, because of that, because of my love of the Harlem Renaissance, of James Baldwin.
Oh yeah.
All the things.
And he's so relevant right now, right? Like I always think James Baldwin is always relevant, but more so right now than I can remember in years past. Like he is so relevant
and timeless. And that's the other thing. These stories that were written during the Harlem Renaissance are timeless.
Yes.
And
yes.
So and so that was my reason for featuring the Harlem Renaissance this year. And I have to say, I'm so full and I'm so grateful because, when I was planning this, I only got back here in 2018. And when I was planning this, there were people that were saying, I had a couple of people say, why just feature authors of the African diaspora? I was like, because when were you introduced to Black authors? And how many Black authors do you read now?
And if we don't do it, who will do it?
And if we don't,
if we don't do it, who will do it?
Right. And I'm not against any other, I love all literature.
Yeah, we'll read other people's work. Of course we will. We all have read other people's work, but our authors need a platform.
Exactly.
And need to be introduced to wider audiences. And we can do that. We can do that.
And what I've been finding out in planning this is that there are so many authors in Connecticut. There's so many talented authors in Connecticut. A lot of people's books are like really wonderful outside of Connecticut. Like their own state isn't giving them props as they should, And then I've been also in touch with some Connecticut authors that were like, wait and see, and some in New Haven, they're like, oh, okay, we'll see. Well, I hope I can get you next year. We also going to start our podcast up again on the October 6th. So we'll be the first and third Sundays of the month.
Okay.
We'll start with the podcast. So whoever is, I can't fit in the
festival.
Whoever can't fit, don't get mad because we got a podcast.
Yes. and the podcasts are well received.
And the podcasts are very well received. And we try to give everybody a little something, a little stipend, honorarium or something. As we grow, you grow.
Yes. That's a wonderful thing, because oftentimes, how we are always asked to do stuff and nobody wants to give us money. Not even like bus fare, right? So everybody always wants us to do free 99, right?
And that's been one of my things as an art cultural coordinator over the years, is that, people have major organizations and they'll have a $125 a plate benefit dinner and want a choir to come or want somebody to come do a poem or a dance or something, and they won't even give them a meal. Like, really? You got to include that in your budget, people, that these artists, they put work into what they do and they should be paid for what they do. And that's why we are very happy to be partnering with People Get Ready Books. I encourage and I tell all our authors to get their books there, to get in touch with Lauren Anderson and Dolores Williams and get their books in that local bookstore. Okay. I know everybody want to do Amazon right quick, but people, Lauren and Dolores give you a book space experience. It's not just like when you go into a Barnes and Noble or any of those big name bookstores, those people are just selling you product. Lauren and Dolores are really selling you books. So they are our partners. Of course, the Arts Council of New Haven is our fiscal sponsor.
Yay.
Let's talk about Social Venture Partners of Connecticut, who gave us a couple of dollars this year to make some things happen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. we had a good list of funders that helped us out on that day of giving in May. What did they call it? The Great Give.
Yes.
Baobab Tree Studios. Okay, of course we got to shout out Rev Kev, because he be hanging in there with us from day one. Arts and Ideas gave us a contribution this year, and they're very supportive of us. I hope I'm not missing nobody. So we're grateful for like community partners, like
yeah,
within
like the inner city.
Oh, and the inner city. Let me shut up. Inner city.
I got shout out. I got shout out my paper.
Shout out to the inner city. We gotta we gotta say that. And Saturday, I gotta tell everybody, Saturday's programming Behind the Stetson is gonna be hosted by WYBC's Huck on Air.
Yes,
Daryl Huckabee.
Daryl Huckabee. Listen, let me tell y'all something. Before the rumors fly, I'm not going to be able to attend LITFEST. So I don't want people to think that we fall out. No, I won't be able to go because I will be having surgery that Thursday, and I won't be able. I'll be out of commission for a couple of weeks. So
Listen.
Otherwise, I'd be square. I would, whatever Ife tells me to do, I would be doing it. Do you want me to go over there and talk to somebody? I'm gonna go over there. Need me to talk to some book people? I'm over there talking to book people. So whatever she wants me to do, I'll be ready next year.
Yeah, absolutely. Because health is first too.
Yes,
and we roll anyway.
We do. We do.
I shut people down. They got to start trying to stir up some Real Housewives, man.
I just wanted to put that out there because
I ain't scared of nobody. You listen to my Reinvention Rebels.
And that's my next conversation. So Wendy Battles, my dear friend, my great love, has started this podcast called Reinvention Rebels. And she is talking to women who are over 50 and 70 and 80 years old, all those older age range, about how they reinvented themselves for the latter act of their lives. And I was privileged to be one of them last year, her first season. And Ife is one of them in this season. And her podcast, her guest podcast appearance is up all on social media. The pictures are beautiful, but the conversation, Ife, is a master class in liberation. It is a master class. And if you've not listened, and I've done listened to it a bunch of times, because I'm like, oh, I love this. I was like, if she wasn't my friend, I would go seek her out so she could become my friend. That's how
Thanks, Babz.
I mean it. It's so good. It's a masterclass in liberation and not letting age or whatever stand in the way of your dreams. So talk a little bit about what that experience is like, Ife, because I think you and Wendy are a match made in heaven around this conversation.
Well, it's about but looking at the experiences, looking at things that happen to you in life and being like, what is the lesson in this? How can I, instead of wallowing in it, because it was a period of time in my 20s, 30s, and maybe even 40s that I wallowed in some stuff. But now I'm at the point of like, okay, something will take the air out of my lungs. But what is the lesson in this? And how can I liberate myself to deal with it? Because you can only, I get tired of myself complaining about shit. So I'm sorry, Harry.
Wait, this is how we talk on the porch. this is how easy and comfortable we get. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead.
When things happen and you complain about it or you lament, and yes, we all have to vent it and get it out. But how long can you do that before it just encompasses you? And you're not, and liberating yourself means that you didn't forget it, but it made you, something within it made you stronger, and you move on. Just got to move on.
Yeah.
You know, and just in the past year, just in times of the last hours of getting this LITFEST together, I've been challenged. I had to take a step away for a minute, and I'd be like, oh, let me get back on track, because this is something I created, and it's important. Liberation is important. People don't think of that. When you break up with somebody, who's broken? Sometimes you're better off. So think of it as a liberation. Okay? You was broke in that relationship.
Yes.
You're not broke after you leave it and you feel released and you're liberated. Move on. You know, it's not always easy to do. So you spend some time in the broke, but how you get fixed, you liberate yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. I love it. So, so talk a little bit, because we got a few more minutes. Talk a little bit about where you are at this point in your life, because it's what, 61?
I'll be 62 September 17th.
Oh,
I am embracing it.
Yes.
So
what's the alternative?
Right.
I mean, you could dread turning 62, because I know women who dread aging, as if somehow or other that's a thing. But you know, this is your life. You get to make it whatever you want, and you know.
Yeah, I guess because I always go back to this. Both of my grandmothers, they never were like ashamed of how old they were or the age they were, and they persevered through whatever they had to persevere through. And I take the example of them. I always call on them in my meditation to help me through difficult times. And maintaining liberation keeps me sane. I don't want to be postal. I don't want to offend postal work, but I just don't want to succumb. And I grew up in looking and knowing a lot of depression, a lot of depressed people, women in particular, that were not expressive, were not able to. I don't know whatever was in me. Just I felt like liberation was real. Like it just came on in the time that I was with somebody that wasn't good for me and thinking they were. But it also has been with work life. Like a lot of people, I knocking people for being at their jobs for 20, 30 years and being able to retire and have that, but it's never been my thing. I always had to liberate myself from oppression, from having to use my sick time or being ill from something I didn't want to do. So here I am.
so tell me, what does this Elm City LITFEST mean to you? Because you've just been back a little while, and then you just looked around the landscape and said, hey, there's somebody doing, I mean, there's some other book festivals, I guess, but they're not talking to us. They're not about us. So
I always loved attending book festivals, and outside of like the Harlem Books Festival, the Brooklyn Caribbean Book Festival, because Brooklyn has a Caribbean book festival, all Caribbean writers, because that's what's in Brooklyn. A whole bunch of people from the Caribbean. I've always been, when I lived in New York, and even before that, I was always a book geek. I like read, taking a lot of literature, and always going to the book festivals. Every borough, there's Bronx Book Festival, there's Queens Book Festival. I don't know about Staten Island. I never went out there, but the rest of the boroughs, I've been out to literary events when I visit my brother on the West Coast in Oakland. Boston Book Festival. I just like, that was my thing. And coming back here and wanting to live Ife, love of art and culture, and my arts. I looked around because I worked for every arts organization almost in this town. Like, I don't, like, at my age, I don't want to work for nothing. Let some young people do the things. Let me create something that we don't have here. And then New England is sterile. Like, all these Black writers here, and they're making their own way. and doing their own thing. So like we don't have a book festival focused on this.
I had no idea there was so many, until you said that, you had told me this a bit of time ago, that there were so many Black authors in Connecticut. It just never occurred to me. I mean, I know Marilyn Nelson, the poet, you know what I mean? I know Nicole Blades, but beyond that, I'm like, oh, there's more? Yes, there are lots more.
A lot more. And they're like, and people are like being recognized where they're within their community.
Yes.
And sometimes that's, we're in a bubble here. We like I always say, this is disconnected. We connecting disconnected because we were disconnected. We're no longer disconnected because we've been able to LITFEST like have partnerships with Urban AF in New London, and she's doing great things, and that's and looking for a new space, but she's doing good things in New London. And then like I said, Hartford's Lit and other arts connectors. So I think this is a good time to be in Connecticut with the arts. And then there's like we have Adrienne Jefferson now doing some good things with.
Oh yes, she's a powerhouse.
Cultural affairs, like rolling along, like get on the wave, ride the wave. And how can I do that? And how like the LITFEST again comes out of my love of literature, all these books back here. Mm-hmm. And like a celebration just to focus on that. They do have a Connecticut Literary Festival in Hartford. And I went to it. And again, we were sprinkled in. We were not featured. And I wanted us to create something that we're featured. And it's for everybody. I want everybody to enjoy the literature of the African diaspora. I want everybody to enjoy being a part of it. Like, I had to read 34, 35, whatever books for the Connecticut Book Awards.
Yes.
Okay. First of all, until I got that email in April or May, I did not know that the Connecticut Center for the Humanities had a Connecticut Center for the Book that had the Connecticut Book Award. I didn't know that. Then I get with these people, the other in the fiction the panel for fiction, and all the judges except for me are white. There's one lady that's, I believe, Cuban, but everybody's from the universities or the white publishing field. They know this and they know that, and they all in. I was like, oh, okay, this is an old boys club, and this award's been around for like maybe 20 years or so.
Wow.
Oh yeah, it's been around for a minute, and some of these people had won the book award or had a book in the book award, or know people that did, and it was like a whole little clique, and I was like, oh, okay. You got me. Okay. So then I get the books and I'm like, got two boxes of books in this.
Black authors here.
I'm meeting all these authors, and none of the authors that I know about the Connecticut Book Awards. I don't know about the other categories. I don't know about there was I did fiction, there's poetry, there's memoir.
And I bet they are very
nonfiction. There's nonfiction and there's children's literature.
And not near.
I don't know who were the judges. I don't know what the books were. And this award comes out in October. And I felt like, wow, if there were, and I had a conversation in one of the meetings, and the woman said, if you know any other author, because I was like, how do people find out about this? Oh, we send it out to publishers and this and this. Yeah, you gotta click, you gotta network. I ain't mad at you because people do what they know. And we hear it from people that are not people of color all the time. White folks always got to do what they know, what they're comfortable with, and that's their community. It's cool. Do your thing. Then he said, like, maybe you can help us next year do da-da-da-da. And I was like, okay. After I came out of that meeting, Babz, I was on the porch. I was like, no. Because the people that were in that in that on that panel with me. Like, we grew up reading white literature. You know, I
Yes.
learned a whole bunch about sex from Jacqueline Suzanne. I tell people to this day, that woman, and her books were about liberating yourself, your body, have women owning their sexuality and all that, way before everybody else came out with their stuff, right?
Yep.
And then I read classics. I love, reading. I actually like reading Jack London, as crazy as it is, but I like those stories. But we grew up reading classic white American stuff, especially in our school systems. That's what we're introduced to. And unless you go to an HBCU,
you'll never know.
In our time, I don't know how it is now. All right, I don't want to offend nobody, because we do have a lot of Black scholars in white universities right now that are doing their thing. But when the time that we were coming up, it was not that. So I looked at these people and I was like, these folks, no, they're not going to give an opportunity in my opinion, they would not give, these stories are not relatable for them, right? The one Black book did make it in the top 5, but the book that won, I was familiar, we all familiar with the story. I can't give it up right now because they got to announce it, but everybody was familiar with that story, with that, and then they had, oh my God, then they had to, we had to choose not only that, but did a book encompass the spirit of Connecticut? I was like, what the hell is the spirit of Connecticut? What? Which Connecticut you talking about? You talking about Westport, Connecticut, Madison, Connecticut, or Bridgeport in New Haven? Like, who Connecticut are you talking about? Like, I could not wrap my head around the spirit of Connecticut thing. I was like,
Well, maybe Elm City LitFest will
next year
with its own award.
LitFest is going to have BIPOC Book Awards.
Do it. I know it's coming.
That is that for next year. I get it together for this year. Nope. But it's going to be, LitFest is going to be a part of an umbrella.
Okay.
Of things that we do. So we're going to have the LitFest, we're going to have BIPOC Book Awards, and we're going to have some other programs to come. And the podcast, of course.
Yes.
Those are the 3 main things that we're going to have. So
I'm excited.
So the umbrella is to come. We got to come up with a name, formulate it, but Elm City LitFest ain't going nowhere. It's going to be what it is. That's one of our foundational things. BIPOC Book Awards and the podcast.
Thanks, oh, it's my pleasure. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I can't wait. When we get offline, I want to hear about what the theme is for next year. We ain't gonna say it now. We want people to be all wondering, but I want to know what the theme is. I just want to know. But yes, Elm City LitFest, when does it kick off? Tell the people when it kicks off and how to connect to you and the fest.
Go to elmcitylitfest.com and everything should be up on there. We have a wonderful, wonderful intern named Ashlyn that is like Miss Web Maker Designer. She's a senior high school student in at Hampden. She's doing her thing and helping Emily, who is our web person. So all the information is up on elmcitylitfest.com. You can email me, elmcitylitfest@gmail.com, and get some information. But Saturday, September 11th, 9/11, y'all, we are going to have a small tribute to that because that was devastating. Yes. But Saturday, September 11th, behind Dixwell Plaza, in the parking lot, in the Elks Club parking lot, the Stetson parking lot, whatever parking lot you want to call it, it's between Charles and Webster Street.
Y'all know where it is. The peoples know where it is.
The address is 200 Dixwell Avenue, because people are like, what's the address? Behind 200 Dixwell Avenue.
There you go.
We'll have signage and everything out there, and a stage from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Daryl Huckabee, Huck on Air, WYBC will be hosting, and we'll have something for everyone.
Yes.
So please come out. We got some good vendors out there that will, buy some stuff from them, get some things, and we'll have some things to give away.
Thank you so much, Ife. It's always a pleasure. I'll see you in a little bit anyway.
Bye.
I'll see you in a little bit.
Okay.
Love you, girl. Love you. I'm so proud of you. All right, Harry, it's time for us to leave. I'll see y'all out here in these literary streets. Here we go.
Hi, this is Babz Rawls-Ivy from New Haven, Connecticut, and you're listening to WNHHLP 103.5 FM, streaming live at newhavenindependent.org.